A new show of U.S. force in the Caribbean. Two sources confirming to ABC News that two B-1 bombers have flown missions from Air Force Base in Texas over the Caribbean this afternoon. This coming shortly after Secretary of War Pete Hegseth confirmed a second strike against a boat allegedly trafficking drugs in the Pacific Ocean. The strike comes in the Pacific on top of several others that we've seen in the area, raising tensions between the United States, Venezuela, and Colombia. Joining me now for more is our ABC News senior Pentagon reporter, Luis Martinez. Okay, so Luis, when you're talking about these planes here, these B-1 bombers, what is this, a strategic show of force here? What do we know about all of this?
Kana, you used the right word, strategic. This is what a bomber is. This is a long-range strategic bomber capable of traveling long distances to carry out bombing missions, carrying heavy munitions. In this case, this is being described as a training mission, but also by one official as a show of force. We saw something just like this last week when we saw three B-52s taking off from their base in Louisiana, going down to the southern Caribbean and essentially flying circles north in international airspace north of Venezuela. We can assume that that is exactly what happened here in this scenario, because these aircraft took off from their base in Texas and then with their transponders on were being tracked by aviation enthusiasts, and then at some point they turned off those transponders. But again, this is all playing in as the U.S. military presence in the Caribbean continues to grow, as the administration carries out what it's calling an armed conflict against drug cartels.
Right, and they designate those cartels, right, Luis, as terrorist organizations. So is the White House, as we know they've been asked, or the Pentagon, releasing any information, evidence about who is on these boats, the specifics about what these boats are carrying, anything like that?
Right, Kina. So we've seen 9 attacks so far since early September, 2 in the last 2 days that have taken place in the Eastern Pacific, which is noteworthy because those are the first strikes in that part of the world. Previously, these attacks on these small, fast boats had been in the Caribbean around the area of north of Venezuela. And so what we're seeing here is a lack of evidence that's being presented by the administration in terms of how they know that the individuals, we're talking now about 37 who have died in these attacks, who have been described as narco-terrorists. Where is the evidence that these are, in fact, individuals who are engaged in drug smuggling? We know that when we talk to some officials, they tell us that they think that there is information that is highly classified intelligence that would indicate that that is the case, but that information is not being made public, which kind of puts the administration in a bind.
All right, Luis Martinez, our thanks to you, as always.